Welcome to Awesome Old Indies, where we take a look at indie games that are at least 5 years old and have either been largely forgotten or never discovered in the first place. Our game today is from 2014 called Blood of the Werewolf, and it is one of my favorites. Aesthetically, it's probably easy to see why I picked this game to cover now. I've been largely covering horror-themed games this month for obvious reasons, and you can tell from the footage this fits that bill exactly. But I want to cover it for another reason as well. Most of us who love these indie games also love retro games, and a big part of that love comes from the memories that we have growing up with these awesome games. Just ask any 40-something-year-old about Punch-Out! Sure, they will tell you they love the game, but they'll also probably have a story connected to their childhood. With the indie game scene getting older, many of us probably also have memories with these games, not from our childhoods, but maybe they still carry a special meaning in our lives. Blood of the Werewolf is one of those games for me. Released in 2014, just 2 years before I became a principal. I was still a teacher and had a class of kids who loved video games. So I'd bring in my gaming laptop and we'd all hang out at lunch and I'd let them try different retro games and retro-inspired indies. We played everything, Contra to Meat Boy to Donkey Kong Country, and these middle school kids loved those games. But no game captured the imagination of the class the way Blood of the Werewolf did. Every single day, my entire class would come to our room at lunch and we would just take turns trying to get through this game. It was so much fun seeing a group of 26 teenagers hoarding around my laptop, itching for their chance to play this awesome retro-inspired indie. This is a tough game, where death is quick, but the frequent checkpoints made it seem beatable, and they did. It took a few months of trying, but eventually the class collectively managed to beat Blood of the Werewolf. We played other games afterwards, but nothing was able to capture the magic that this game did. In a time where all the kids were playing the latest version of Call of Duty, or whatever the heck kids were playing in 2014, there was just something so awesome about them getting this excited over an awesome indie retro platformer, which is why this game will always have such a special place in my heart. It was a memory from one of my last years of teaching with one of my favorite classes. And as I replayed this game for this review, I got so many memories from that class and the good times we had with this game. And I gotta tell you, after not playing the game for about a decade, it was every bit as awesome as I remember. There's another layer to my love for this game. My dad was a classic horror movie fan, and I grew up watching all of those movies with him. The last time I went to the movie theaters with my dad, it was to see Van Helsing. He absolutely loved it, as did I. Forget all the bad reviews. It was a kick-ass movie, and this game reminds me a lot of that movie and of my dad. So I've done enough babbling about myself. Let's talk about the game. You play as a female werewolf. Your baby is kidnapped, your husband is murdered, and you embark on a quest to avenge your husband and get back your baby. This takes you through every classic horror movie you would want. You fight the creature from the Black Lagoon, Dracula, the Mummy, Frankenstein's monster. It is truly exciting. Fans of stuff like Castlevania will love it just based on that. Play is divided into two separate styles. When you are indoor, you are in your human form. You have a crossbow that can be aimed with a right stick and a jump. Anytime you step outside or in front of an open window, you instantly change into a werewolf. Here you could double jump, slice at your enemies, and you get a variety of werewolf powers. The transitions here are just super smooth, and sometimes they're used in really fun ways. Like here, when you're fighting Dracula. You were on a train. When you were under the tunnel, you're in your human form. As the train transitions out into the moonlight, you turn into a werewolf. Dracula changes his form as well into a giant demon, as opposed to the more human-looking Dracula you are fighting inside the tunnels. It is really cool and well done. The boss fights in general are just awesome. Every boss is larger than life and usually take up the whole screen. None of them were exceptionally difficult, but aesthetically they were incredible and really fun to fight. Level design here is just amazing. Every level has a nice gothic look to it, and it will take you through a variety of locales as you traverse a ghost and goblin style map. It's a difficult game. There are a ton of instant death traps everywhere, knockback, lots of knockback, into bottomless pits, spikes. Expect to die a lot, but there are also frequent checkpoints, so you usually don't have to do too much backtracking. I found every level to be a lot of fun. The game does a great job of constantly throwing new obstacles at you and dealing swift, instant death, but I really can't think of anything cheap. This is not one of those games where you're taking blind leaps of faith. The camera does a really nice job of panning in and out, so you always know where you need to go, but getting there is not always so simple. There are a bunch of secrets and collectibles here as well. You get these little icons everywhere. They're always just a little bit out of the way, but collecting a bunch extends your health meter permanently, so they are well worth going for. And there are upgrades and special moves hidden around if you could find them. I only found a few. The game had such a fantastic job of pacing and keeping you moving. I found it hard to take the time to explore because there was always a looming threat leading me to my next checkpoint. Blood of the Werewolf is an amazing game that nobody ever talks about anymore. My own personal nostalgia goggles aside, this is a great Halloween-themed indie, and it retails for the full price of $5. If you want a hard game that does a fantastic job of nailing that old-school horror vibe, this is an absolute no-brainer. Definitely check it out. You will not be disappointed. And thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and if you have any awesome memories associated with indie games, let me know in the comments below.